Welcome back to Miss B Makes It Easier. In this episode, we're going to be focusing on mixtures and separation. And on this front page, I have all the pictorial representations of different types of ways that you can separate mixtures. Here you have fractional distillation, simple paper chromatography, filtration, simple distillation, and a separating funnel. An element is a substance made up of only one type of atom. Elements cannot be broken down into anything simpler by chemical reactions. Examples of elements include helium, oxygen, and chlorine. Helium is a monatomic molecule, while oxygen and chlorine are diatomic molecules. A compound is a substance made up of two or more different atoms or ions joined together by bonds. There are two main types of compounds. You have molecular or giant molecular, which are atoms that are bonded together covalently, and you have ionic, which are bonded together by ionic bonds. Now, chemical bonds are strong forces holding the atoms together. Physical properties do not depend on the amount of substance present. Examples of physical properties are melting and boiling points, density, strength, hardness, electrical and thermal conductivity. Chemical properties describe how elements and compounds react with each other or with other substances. So, examples of a chemical property is such that you can have methane reacting with oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and water. Whereas metal sodium, if you put that in some water, you will get sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas coming off. If a substance is pure, it cannot be separated into any other parts by physical means. For example, pure water has only water molecules in it. If a substance is impure, it is referred to as a mixture. A mixture contains two or more different components. For example, water mixed with salt will contain water molecules plus the sodium ions and the chloride ions. Pure substances have sharp melting and boiling points. The melting or freezing point of pure water is 0 degrees Celsius, while its boiling point is 100 degrees Celsius at sea level. Impurities in a pure substance would raise its boiling point. So if you put salt in water, its boiling point will raise from 100 to some other number greater than 100 degrees Celsius. However, if you put salt on ice, it will melt at a lower temperature than 0 degrees. Mixtures can be separated by physical means such as filtration or distillation. When you compare compounds and mixtures, you will find that a compound has a fixed composition, whereas a mixture would have variable composition. Compounds cannot be separated by physical means, whereas mixtures can be separated by physical means. A physical property of a compound is that they are made up of different elements, right? Whereas physical properties of mixture, they have color and density are the average of the substances in the mixture. A solution is a uniform mixture or homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. A solute is a substance that is dissolved in a solvent. It can be a solid, a liquid, or a gas. A solvent is a substance that dissolves a solute. It can also be a solid, liquid, or gas. In solutions, the particles cannot be seen. The solution is transparent and light is able to pass through them. Particles in a solution cannot be separated via filtration, nor does the solute separate from the solvent if it is left to stand. However, some types of solutions can be separated by simple or fractional distillation. Here we have some types of solution. In this case, in a solid, where the solute is a solid, and the solvent is a liquid. Example of this would stand as seawater or salt in water. Here you have another example of a solid in a solid, and this is an example of bronze, which is an alloy. It is a mixture of tin and copper dissolved in one another. You have gas, which is a solute, in the solvent being the liquid, and that would be your carbonated beverages that you purchase every day. Example, Coke, Sprite, Oyster, things that we call Bryson here, you know, things like that, Fanta. That's an example of a gas in liquid solution. Then you have a liquid in liquid solution, for example, rum. Then you have a gas in gas, for example, air, which is regarded as a fluid, and it's a mixture of nitrogen, oxygen, and other gases. So you know that you're not only breathing in oxygen. Remember too that when you breathe in, you breathe out carbon dioxide. So that's also another component of air. A suspension is a mixture of small particles dispersed in another substance. If left to stand, the small particles will settle to the bottom of the mixture. This settling is referred to as sedimentation. The particles are large enough to be seen. Suspensions are opaque and scatters light. The particles can be separated by filtration. Here we have the nature of the suspension. It's a solid and liquid. And examples of solids and liquids is dirt in water, sand in water, rocks in water, particles in liquid medication. And this you would see on medications which tell you to shake before use, because maybe the important parts would have settled to the bottom. Okay, and for this type, the type of separation, the separation technique you would use for this is filtration, because you would definitely have a solid that settles to the bottom, and that filter paper would be the barrier to stop the solid from moving down into the filtrate that you want to collect, or you want to separate the solution, the mixture from. Let's say you would have the solid on top and you would have your liquid underneath, as you can see in this picture right here. You will have your filter paper, and on this filter paper will be the solid particles, and the filter paper would stop the solid particles from entering the filtrate here, which would be the liquid part of your mixture. Colloids consists of one type of particle, solid, liquid, or gas, dispersed throughout another. In colloids, the particles are larger than those of a solution, but smaller than those of a suspension. Colloids are opaque and scatter light. They cannot be separated by filtration. The mixtures, or the particles do not settle to the bottom of the mixture. So here we have some examples of colloids. The nature of this colloid with solid dispersed in gas, and the type of colloid would be referred to as an aerosol. Example, smoke particles in air. Then you have gas dispersed in a liquid. Type of colloid is foam, whipped cream, shaving cream. Liquid dispersed in liquid. Type of colloid emulsion, so that's milk. Solid dispersed in liquids, salt. Example, paint. And liquid trapped in solids, gel, and there's jelly that you'll be spreading on your bread and mixing with peanut butter if that's what you like. And here ended the session. Look out for my other episode coming up when it's dealing with some questions, just so that we stay on track and you're on track and we are working together with Miss B as she makes it easier. So, goodbye now and have a great day.